We are the weirdos, mister.
Hi, hello, what's up? It's me, Audra. I am getting ready to stream, so I thought I would film a little video whilst I do it. And I wanted to talk about the sniper wolf situation, but like I couldn't figure out how I wanted to talk about it. And then as I was getting ready and talking to myself, as I do, because that's who I am as a person, I realized how I wanted to talk about it. So first of all, if you like this video, like, subscribe, share with your friends, whatever makes you feel happy, or don't, you know what I mean? Do whatever brings you joy. I'm not gonna argue with you. Anyways, for those of you who do not know the sniper wolf situation, here's what has transpired. There's a whole ass, listen, I'm still in the process of like moving, packing, all that stuff, so. Also, this will be an ADHD, tale, so I'm sorry if you can't follow. Like, I understand that I'm not your cup of tea, so, there's not gonna be any apologies, but I'm sorry. Anyways, here's the thing. So, Sniper Wolf is a creator who I was calling her Sniper Wolf because it's SSSniperwolf, which stood for Super Sexy Sniper Wolf. And because I say it like that, Sniper Wolf, because I remember I was watching Do We Know Them, and they said that too, that they thought it was, and I was like, yeah, so did I, because Hooked on Phonics worked for me. Sniper Wolf. You know what I'm saying? Up until, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago, I was calling the man Dead Mouse 5. Apparently it's Dead Mouse. Why is there 5 there? Is that, listen, I get that I'm ancient, but like, can we just chill? Anyway, let me stop being a bitch. So, or let me just continue. I brought things. Okay, I did bring things. I was like, what's happening? So the situation, I swear I have like an actual mirror in here. Hold on, y'all.
I'm having a hard time expressing myself.
All right, so I literally just grabbed the first palette and it looks like we're gonna just be using the Bad Side Zodiac Air from Melt Cosmetics. Here comes Bo because I think he thought that I closed the door and he doesn't like that shit. So anyways, he was like, bitch, I know you didn't close the door. I'm like, sir, relax. So what happened is that Sniper Wolf creates this like really lazy ass content. It's not great. She reacts to other people's shit, and these reactions are super lazy. She doesn't really add to the content, and it brings up the question with regards to reaction channels, which has been an ongoing question. It's been an ongoing irritation for a lot of people, and that irritation is that when people do react content, specifically lazy content, where they're not making it transformative in any way, like literally sitting there and going, whoa, and like that's the content. The issue, see, I have like 2 mics here, so like, listen, I'm working on things. So if it sounds funny, just let me live for now. Thank you. So the issue that a lot of people have with that is very obvious, and it's, she creates lazy content, and not only does she create lazy content, but she is stealing this content and not giving credit to the people that create that content. Also, as Do We Know Them pointed out, stealing the joke from somebody else, like cutting it off and then stealing their joke and making it seem like she made that joke and that she's funny, which she's not funny. And JacksFilms has been pointing this out quite a bit. JacksFilms, I don't know what JacksFilms does. I've never watched his content. I've actually never heard of him until today. Like, not like today, but until this whole drama unfolded, I had literally never heard of JacksFilms, like at all. I was just like, who? So like, please, like again, YouTube is a vast world. We all forget sometimes how large YouTube is because there's so many creators you never heard of until some shit goes down, and then you're like, oh, okay. Anyway, the point is, he was really pointing out how shitty her content was. In so doing, it kind of got to it got to a point where he created a channel where all he does is react to sniper wolves. And the point that he was trying to make is that essentially a creator of her size is able to not only make this lazy ass content and profit off of it, but she's stealing other people's content and profiting off of it, which is something that supposedly YouTube doesn't stand by. So this ends up going offline, which is not what we need to be doing with YouTube battles, like, or any just online battle. We don't need to take it offline. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't like you, you don't need to, as Sniper Wolf did show up live streaming outside of my house, showing the number and doxing me, and saying like, I know where you are, like come outside and talk. That's just wild. And as my guy 16 Leo pointed out, if she had been a he, this, and I say this very specifically because of the fact that Sniper Wolf often uses the fact that she is a woman as like why people come after her, and like, you know, I'm a woman and I'm empowering other women as like her whole thing. So I would like to point out that if she had been a he showing up outside of a woman's house, or reverse the situation, she would have been immediately like pushed off of the platform, right? Immediately. There would like not be a world where they would allow this, because they would consider that very dangerous and stalker-like behavior. And yeah, that's bad. Oh my God, my teeth are so white. Holy shit. Okay, sorry. I just brushed my teeth. I was like, Jesus. She does this. It takes YouTube forever to respond. And when they do respond, it's just like half-ass bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just the usual YouTube, like, we don't condone whatever the fuck happened, but this person makes us a shit ton of money, so we don't care. So, that's the truth. That's the truth. They don't care. Be right back. The situation escalated to the point where she doxed him, and she was just like, anybody who says I doxed him, that's defamation, which again, people do not know what defamation means, and so they really need to look that shit up. It's not defamation if it's true, babes. But anyway, first of all, that's part of it. That's a part of it. But proving defamation is also very difficult in court. It's very difficult in court. Anyway, the point is, she doxed him. YouTube's response was shit. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about with regards to this JacksFilms Sniper Wolf situation is why JacksFilms would be going so hard. Because I know that there are a lot of people who are like, it wasn't even that serious for him to be bothering her the way that he was. But what people forget is that content creation is a gig economy. Content creation is part of the gig economy. It really is. Like hardcore, top tier part of the gig economy. Because if you do not hustle all the time, you're like not going to be able to have this as your actual source of financial, what is the word? As your actual source of financial freedom, financial payment. You will not be able to actually have this as your source of how you make money. It's not your financial source. It becomes like secondary, like it is for me. Like for me, this is just like, it's not even secondary, but it's like fifth-dairy. But for a lot of people, that's what this is. This is a gig economy. This either supplements your bills, like how much you pay, or it is your source of income. That's the word I was looking for. Like it becomes your primary source of income. There we are. Those are the words. And in this gig economy, there's a lot of competition, right? There's so much competition, and you're battling all day, every day, just to try to be either as good as somebody else, as original as somebody else, which is weird to say as original as somebody else. Because here's the thing, like, yes, original content is important. I'm not gonna say it's not, but we have to be very real in the fact that if something works really well for somebody, like the Mr. Beastification, which check out Pine Lee's video on that here. I'm saying here, but like I don't know if I'm going to put an insert there. Look, a box. Or if I'm going to just link it below. I'm going to try to link all this stuff below. Y'all catch me if I forget to link something, because I'm on that bullshit today. I don't know where everything is. I'm on like kind of a high because I put up shelves, I put up curtains, and I know that my mom's going to come in and just be like, how'd you put up curtains by yourself? And I'm going to be like, I'm a homosexual. I'm not really going to be talking about the doxing because I feel like there's a lot of people who talk about it. Although I will say that is an absolutely insane, that is not a sane response in any way, shape, or form to feeling like you're like he's bothering you on the platform. Like there's 1,000,001 different things you could have done that literally were not showing up to his house, exposing your millions of followers to him. So I am going to say that, like that, to where he lives. Like that's wild behavior. Like, girl, are you okay? Do you need a doctor? Because, you know, I've gone through some shit, you know what I mean? I'm like checking to make sure my eyebrow doesn't look too wild, because it probably does. Who cares? It's dark in here, so you really can't see how terrible everything's coming out. So the point is, what I'm getting across here is like the gig economy and why he would be so up in arms about her shitty ass content and going so far as to create the channel that like makes fun of her, etc., and having a whole ass like bingo game to it and all of that. It's because, like I said earlier, that this is a gig economy, and as such, therefore, and forthwith, that means that everybody's out here hustling. And the thing is, when you create something and then somebody else just steals it, and especially larger creators, they just steal your work, right? And then they don't credit you, they don't say anything. This happens in the beauty community all the freaking time, where like you have a really cool idea, and when people are talking about credit, they're not saying like, nobody's saying you have to credit every single person. Whoever you saw do it, right? Because like, again, YouTube is vast. But if you saw me do something and then you were like, ooh, these strings are bothering me. That's not what you were like. And then you were like, ooh, that's a cool idea. I'm gonna do that too. If you don't say, I got this idea from Audra, it's a little awkward, right? Because eventually, like, audiences can cross, right? So somebody will show up on your channel that watches me and be like, huh, you seem to have taken that from Audra. Why didn't you credit Audra for that, right? And this is what really starts pissing creators off, because they're like, Audra's not the only person on the platform who can do it. And it's like, babes, but you know you saw it somewhere. Like, that's how this works. So back to the point of the gig economy, you realize that like you've worked your ass off to create said content, and somebody else just like rolled up, stole your shit, put it on their channel, gave you zero credit for the shit that they stole, and you don't get anything out of it, right? Because we're all out here doing a little gig economy. And especially if this is like your jobby job, that sucks even more, because you're out here like, babes, I like don't have tons of time to do all of this shit. Like that's why I have to like shoehorn multiple things into one thing. It's why I'm getting ready right now with y'all on this video so that I can Twitch stream, because I love streaming. I love streaming. So this is gonna come out looking funky, I think, but that's okay, because I kind of wanted to put that like deeper shade there and then just kind of like do this. Okay. Yeah, that's working. That's what I wanted, I think. So anyways, yes, that is what I wanted. Go me and my good ideas. Anyhow, what JacksFilms was consistently trying to point out was that like, if smaller creators do this same shit, right? If a smaller creator steals from an even smaller creator, like they can get in, a lot of times they'll get in trouble more. And if you steal from a really large creator, they will definitely copyright strike you for that, right? But you don't have, as a smaller creator, the power to do that to a larger creator. This is gonna be like kind of a messy, funky look, and I'm okay with that. You don't have the power. You don't have the power of YouTube behind you. You don't have a big enough audience behind you. You just don't have enough strength and popularity, I guess, to really fight this. And in this gig economy, what it's exposing over and over again is that there are certain creators who are, without a doubt, allowed to behave however the hell that they want to and do whatever they want, and YouTube will support them to do that, and won't do anything. And like, YouTube's not the only platform that does that, but like TikTok does it as well. But the issue with that, obviously, is that it ends up being discouraging for other people who want to join this portion of the gig economy, right? For anybody else who's like, yeah, I would love to do this shit. However, the feeling that I'm gonna create this content and then somebody, like, I have 11,000 subscribers, right? And so, like, everybody doesn't get Reddit with me. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, let's say I have a particular style or something. And I do. I have a particular editing style that I really do and enjoy. And I do it quite often. It's a fun time, etc., etc. But here is the thing about that. Is if somebody who has 150K decides to steal that and do exactly what I'm doing, I don't get any credit for that, and I end up losing out. And even worse, people will come from their channel to tell me that I stole from their big creator. That's the wild part, is that like their small audience will just like randomly show up and be like, you stole this from son. And you're like, bitch, I was doing this before they were. I watched them steal my shit. There was nothing I could do about it because I'm a small creator. There's nothing I can do. I just have to take it on the chin and deal with it because YouTube isn't going to do anything. And if I try to strike them, they're gonna say, oh, well, I'm using fair use. And again, because they're a larger creator, YouTube's gonna go, well, they're using fair use. And like, that's gonna be the end of it. There's like not gonna be any further conversation. And so you're just gonna be stuck having your shit stolen and having to smile about it. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem that people have. So in this gig economy, what JacksFilms was trying to very consistently expose and has done so, again, go watch 16 Leo's video on this as well. He's exposed the reality that if you are a large creator, you can get away with doing anything you want and YouTube will do nothing against you.
Flames on the side of my face.
And YouTube will do nothing because you make YouTube money and YouTube likes money. So the problem with that is like what I said before, is it's going to discourage more people from creating content. And I know that like a lot of people are like, yeah, but AI is going to make it and like, but no, it's not. AI is going to take a configuration of the shiz that we all already do, right? And then they're going to be stealing our content. So do you see how this all kind of like ends up flowing together? Do you see what I'm saying? Like eventually what's going to happen is like all of us who create content on YouTube, we are fearful of the reality that like they could just start using AI to take our likenesses and create channels based off of our shit. And in a gig economy, that means like we won't be able to do this anymore. On like not for free anyway. And by free I just mean like not on YouTube. Like more and more people, like I've said this before, but a lot of people are moving behind paywalls for very specific reasons. One, like for instance, I do some reviews and whatnot. I'm currently in process. I don't know if I have that edited at this time when I'm doing this. Probably not, because you know, shit be happening in my life. I have a lot going on. My route is big as fuck, etc., etc. So I'm like, etc., etc. It takes a lot of time for me to get shit done, and I'm still unpacking and all of that. But the point is, over on my Patreon, I am going through palettes and doing like declutters and whatnot. And I'm just kind of moved almost all of my beauty content behind a paywall, and it's because of the fact, part of it is because like I absolutely hate the way that larger creators do come from down on high to steal ideas from smaller creators, pass them off as their own, provide zero credit to the person who was doing it in the first place. And then it's just like, it makes it to where you as a content creator don't feel as inspired to want to keep creating content if you know that these larger creators can just keep doing that to you. And they know it too. Like that's the other thing. They know it. They know that they can come down here. They know they can steal your shit and walk away, and like ain't nobody gonna do shit. What's anybody gonna do, huh? Nothing. And as we very much like watched in real time, like YouTube did not care and want to do anything about SSSniperwolf doing what she did. Like granted, the doxing happened on IG, but the point still stands, you know, like that is against everyone's TOS. Doxing is against everyone's TOS. And for anybody who doesn't know what doxing is, it's when you divulge the personal private information that people do not have out there for public consumption at all. Like, and people have accidentally doxed, but 99.9% of doxing is done maliciously. Like, it's done to sick your large audience on a smaller creator and make them shut the f up. You know what I mean? Like, that's the entire intent. Like, there's no other intent. I'll be right back. I gotta wash my hands and get some mascara.
Oh, stop it with the portentous mumbles. We had a whole talk about that.
And so to me, a big issue is that a lot of these platforms continuously forget that, like, they exist because we exist, right? Like, this whole thing, like YouTube, TikTok, all of it exists off of mostly free labor. Mostly free labor. And again, I think that everybody's like, oh, well, AI is going to take over. And okay, I guess. But then what are they going to do with all the creative people who, like, this was their job? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, every time people say, like, well, AI, and they get, like, this weird gleeful, like, fuck you, creators. I think it's weird, but that's a whole conversation for another day. I'm like, that is a conversation for another day. And that is a very bright nose. I will sort of fix it maybe. But when you expose the gig economy like this and really expose that, like, the thing about YouTube, the thing about TikTok, about all of these platforms is that we're all out here hustling all day, every day, just trying our very best. That'll work. To be able to live off of or supplement our incomes by doing content creation, and to have people like SSSniperwolf taking your creative ideas and making them her own into extremely lazy reaction content that then also gives a bad name for all reaction content, because if you only come across, like, you know, SSniperwolf shit, you are an intelligent adult, not like a child, but you come across her shit, then you think like, oh, everybody does this and that's how everybody does it and it's fine. And so then you create content like that and you don't realize that it's bad and you're stealing, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this gig ass economy means that people are really working their ass off to come up with original fun content for their viewers, and to have it just so like just stolen from you, like XQC does. You know, they're taking your thumbnails, they're doing all this stuff, and you're just over here like, bro, you have all of these subscribers, you make all of this stinking money, and you're telling me that you can't be bothered to give me credit, to say that, like, I'm the content creator that you got this from. If you're reacting to something, you can't put that person's video in the description box. Like, you can't put it in there, you can't at them. And here's the thing, most people don't even care. Like, there's multiple content creators, like I have, you know, done that, where I was like, oh yeah, you know, like, I'll do a creator spotlight sometimes. I want to get back into doing it again. I just haven't done it in a long time, just because I've been moving. But most of the time people don't see it. Like, Tony Brienne saw it and that was really awesome. But a lot of creators don't even react to you, like, and part of it's probably because they're getting a lot of notifications, but a lot of creators don't even react to that shit, which I find kind of sucky, but it's fine. And it's just, I'm not like expecting you to just be like, thanks so much for the shout, but it is kind of sucky that you're like, no, I'm like doing that. But the point is, make note of who you got that shit from, you know, because you didn't make this. When you steal someone else's, like, creative intellectual property, right? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why can't you make your own content? And at the end of this, you see, like, she just got so frustrated with what she felt like was bullying. And I feel like it's up to you on whether or not you feel like JacksFilms went too far. I think he kept it all online, which is where you're supposed to keep this kind of bullshit. And if you want to talk about who went too far, it's definitely her. It's definitely her. She went completely, like, just out of this world, bonkers wild with this shit. Like, I really don't understand why she thought it would be in any form, any way, shape, or form, like, a good idea to be doing this shit, like, for her audience. Like, I just thought, like, girl, that's kind of wild that you would think that that would be an okay way to behave, and she just did. And, you know, she came up with her weak ass apology, as virtually every YouTuber does whenever this shit goes down. They're like, I'm so sorry that, like, I did whatever the hell it is that you said I did. And it's always like, sorry if I offended you. Like, okay, yes, I'm looking in the viewfinder because, again, it's dark. Let me live. But yeah, this is a gig economy. People, the majority of people who do this are lucky if they even make $100 a month, $150. Like sometimes I'm one of those people who, makes more than $150 a month, but doing this, but mostly I'm not. But then if I count my Patreon, then I do. But that is, again, I've said this before, like that's why people start going behind paywalls, because it's like, it feels like it's one of the few places. Like obviously there are people who would pay to steal your content anyway because they're assholes, but it feels like it's the only place that you can go to keep your intellectual property with people who want to watch it. You know what I mean? Are we gonna do a lip? Oh, we have to do a lip. Duh. We have to do a lip because I'm gonna stream, so I need to look like extra cute. I say that as like most of my makeup's fucked up. Who cares? It is what it is. But yeah, I guess my final thoughts are like obviously doxing's bad, I'm guy. But really and truly in this gig economy, what's really upsetting is that these platforms continue to allow larger creators to be able to steal content, like loads and loads of content theft. And this has been a problem since really forever, but especially when you add monetization into it, this has been a problem from jump. And you've heard many Black creators talk about how their shit got stolen. We all remember the whole thing with the Charli D'Amelio dance, you know what I mean? And it wasn't even her dance, you see what I'm saying? But with that much content theft going on, it doesn't just impact your intellectual property, and it impacts you financially. If somebody steals your shit and they're making tons and tons of money off of it, and oftentimes you may not even realize it because again, YouTube is vast, TikTok is vast. You may never see it, and if you do, you're like Jesus. And especially when you see how much money they made off of it, you're like, bro, I'm like struggling, and you stole this from me and you didn't even put me in the description box. That's wild. That's wild behavior. So, exposing the fact that these like platforms don't do anything, they don't stop people, they don't do anything to rein that in is very frustrating. I'm hoping that there's some changes coming to YouTube, but there's not. Like really all they can do is be like, show you that, like I've done it with my channels where I'll like upload the same video on 2 channels because I'm trying to decide which channel to put, and they'll let me know that it exists somewhere. But like, what do I do then? Because again, if the person just goes fair use, most of the time, especially if they're a large creator, YouTube's gonna go, yep, fair use. So sorry, too bad, so sad, and that's it. That's the end of your argument. Like you don't even get to keep battling because they're like, no, so sorry, it's fair use. And you're like, bitch, what? So anyways, that's all I have to say today. I was a little discombobulated, a little strange, but I really, really want to go back and play some Weird West because I've forgotten how to play the game and I'd like to play it again. Or I'm just gonna have to buy Ghost Recon. So we'll see. We will see. Cause like, I love a glowing upper lip on a stream. All right. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you like this, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. Helps me out in the algorithm. That's really what I'm looking for. Thank you. All right. Bye.